Okay, guys, I'm going to explain how I came up with the location for this wonderfully fun discussion we're having on the number one hole at Empire or Bethpage. Um, I agree with everyone. I went. My point of entry into this dog leg is at 280 left 10. Now, I have calculated, guys, the way I play this, and I play my dog legs probably a little different than most of you. I've got this as a factor of 1 to 1. Now, that being said, because unfortunately APBA does these goofy bent lines, which really messes things up in my mind. So normally, if a 1 to 1, I would go. Let me get a better pointer. I would go 5 up, 5 forward, 5 left, 5 forward, 5 left. But if you look the way this thing is at a diagonal, I went for at least for this first part, I went 2 up and 1 over because if you carry the straight line through, this more approximates a 1 to 1 over this goofy, crooked diagonal line here. I almost didn't do it because it doesn't follow my rules of a 1 to 1 to go forward, left, but in this case I made an exception. Regardless, I'll show you both ways. So 280, 290, 5 over. Now, because these are nice square grids, I start my 1 to 1. So let's get it again. 290, left, 5 over. 295, over. And I'm not in a tree, but 89, 290, 280, 300, and 5 over, and boom, I got stuck in a tree. And if you come over here, that's at 295, left 25. That's how I calculated it. Now, if I would have went and stuck to my real guns, I would have went 285, 290, 295, and then I would have been in trees here. So the difference is 1 grid, which isn't going to make or break anybody. But regardless, if I go in here, if I play it this way, it's a big difference of a ball landing out here, at least in my mind. Because if I'm in the trees here too, I'm probably going to play it. In this case, I guess I could play rough or deep rough, because it's kind of hard to tell where this line would be. But that's how I arrived at my first attempt at resolving the shot. That being said, also, I think this dog leg is probably one of the more complex ones we could be talking about. So I think the other ones are resolved usually a little easier than this. And I think you saw a comment I just made. I don't think on dog legs, if there's trees involved, you can just go like, you're 35 up and 35 over, because if you looked at where the first time Robert Mosher landed, he would have been behind the trees, which would say to me that the ball probably would have stopped in the trees. Anyway, that's my take on it. Guys, I'm loving the conversation, so we'll be interested to hear what you think of this movie.